Hi everyone, welcome back to the Holly Lolly channel. Today, I've got a very special guest. He was born and raised in Japan, goes to a Japanese school, speaks Japanese, but at the same time, he has a really unique and beautiful look, an amazing charisma, and the cutest curly hair. So, hi, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm George.
Nice to meet you, George. So tell us, have you ever been abroad? Do you have anything to compare Japan with? What makes Japan different from other countries?
Well, compared to other countries, I really like it here. It feels free, the food is delicious, people are kind. There are a lot of things here you just don't find abroad. Schools are great for kids. I have lots of good friends. If I had to rate Japan, I'd give it 10 out of 10.
That's amazing. Can you explain to our viewers how Japanese schools work? How is the school system structured?
First, you have elementary school called Shogako, up to grade 6. Then there's middle school, Chugako, which has 3 grades. I'm in the 2nd grade of middle school now. After that, there's high school, Kodogako, also 3 grades. If your grades are bad, you can even be held back a year.
Wow. Has that ever happened in your school?
Not in elementary or middle school. That's called Gimu Kyoiku. It's compulsory education. Everyone has to go, and if someone refuses, teachers even teach them online. But in high school, if you don't want to continue, you can just start working and you'll be treated as an adult.
I remember you also studied for a short time in post-Soviet countries last summer, right? How was that experience compared to Japan?
Yes, I studied in one of the post-Soviet countries for 2 months. The food there was not so great. If you don't like it, you just buy your own. But in Japanese schools, they give you a full portion. Super tasty. And you can even get seconds. Honestly, you don't even need breakfast or dinner at home. You're full just from school lunch. It's awesome. But in post-Soviet countries, the studying goes faster. They teach more things, while in Japan, it's more step by step.
So where is it harder?
I think in post-Soviet countries is harder. School in Japan is a little easier, but honestly, school is tough everywhere for me.
Interesting. What about school rules? Are there any that surprised you?
The only rule I don't like is that in Japan, you're not allowed to bring phones to school. In post-Soviet countries, you can.
And what about the teachers? Are they strict?
It depends. Younger teachers are usually kind. Older ones are stricter. Some older women are nice too.
In our schools, teachers sometimes yell at students who misbehave. Does that ever happen in Japan?
No, definitely not. If someone breaks a window, maybe the teacher will shout, but hitting a student or raising a hand against someone, never. They'd get arrested or fired immediately.
Wow. And do teachers in Japan have favorites, or do they treat everyone the same?
Sometimes it happens, but mostly they treat everyone the same.
Do you have a lot of friends here?
Yes, many.
Are they all Japanese, or do you also have Russian-speaking friends?
Both. At my Japanese school, most kids are Japanese. There are some foreigners, even Russian speakers, but I don't really hang out with them. Most of my friends at school are Japanese.
And how are Japanese friends different from Russian-speaking friends?
Honestly, they're not different at all. Friends are friends. Japanese people treat foreigners kindly. In some countries, foreigners get treated badly, but in Japan, people are very open and positive.
And George, you're actually HAFU, right? How do people in Japan treat HAFU kids?
They don't really treat us differently. They just say, that's cool, and that's it.
I also know you've done some modeling, right? Can you tell us about that? Do you still get invited to photo shoots?
Sometimes, but not right now. I used to do a lot of shoots, but now it's only once in a while.
I see. You know, I have little kids myself, and people are always charmed by them. I feel like people here are especially drawn to HAFU kids, or do they treat them just like Japanese kids?
If someone doesn't speak Japanese well, bullies might sometimes tease them, but a lot of people actually help. If you say something wrong but then correct yourself, people will praise you. Since I'm HAFU but have always lived in Japan, I speak Japanese normally, so people treat me like any other Japanese kid. About appearance, little kids who are foreign or HAFU often get comments, but for adults, people usually just say cool or don't comment at all.
And how do you say word cool in Japanese?
Kakoi.
Nice. Now, I've heard different opinions about Japanese schools. Some people say there's bullying, others say it doesn't exist at all. What's your experience?
Yes, bullying exists here. It's called aihaima. For example, if someone is overweight or not very good looking, kids might make up nicknames for them, like Stinky or something mean, and tease them. At our school, they teach us that even if you don't bully, but you just watch and walk away, pretending it's not your problem, that also counts as aihaima. Police and teachers always tell us not to bully, and now there's even a rule that you can be punished by law for it.
I see, but is it just name-calling, or can it get more serious?
These days, it's mostly just name-calling. A few years ago, during the Heisei era, there were cases like kids pouring water on someone in the bathroom. But now, we're in the Reiwa era, people have changed, and they're kinder.
And how do teachers react if they see bullying happening?
First, they take the bully to the principal's office and talk with them. Then, they also bring in the victim and have a discussion together. If the bully apologizes and promises not to do it again, they reconcile. After that, teachers usually don't do much more, except sometimes they follow up with both sides using the Line, the Japanese messenger app. Teachers try to mediate.
Got it. Thank you. Now, are there any unusual school subjects in Japan? For example, I was surprised to see that in my son's elementary school, they sometimes grow plants, like potatoes, and bring them home. It was really cute. We never had that in my country. Do Japanese schools have other subjects that don't exist elsewhere?
Yes, like you said, growing plants is something only in elementary school. In middle and high school, it's rare, though maybe some high schools have it. But there are other unique subjects. For example, dotoku, which is about morality. Like I said about bullying, they teach us why it's wrong. There's even a textbook with short stories about kids fighting or bullying, and we have to discuss what should have been done in that situation.
Oh, and I've heard that in Japan, everyone has to play some kind of musical instrument. Is that true?
That's in elementary school. In middle school, you can join a club called bukatsu. For example, I'm in the football club, but there's also a music club where you can play piano, recorder, or flute. When you enter middle school, you can choose your own club. There are clubs for drawing, baseball, even judo.
And you chose football, right?
Yes, football.
Do you enjoy it?
Yes, very much.
Great. Now, I've also heard that in Japan, students spend a huge amount of time studying because everyone worries about which university they'll get into and what career they'll have in the future. I've also heard that after regular classes, students stay for extra lessons and that it almost takes away all of a child's free time. Is that true?
It's partly true. For example, in middle school, in the first and second years, it's not like everyone only studies all the time. But in the third year, since they need to prepare for high school entrance exams, they start studying much more. There are different types of high schools, some for farming, some for construction, regular ones, even ones for singers. You can choose, but if the school is far, you'll have to take the train there.
But do you personally still have a lot of free time, or do you spend almost all your time studying?
I mostly hang out with friends, except before tests. In post-Soviet countries, they call them control works. We have 2 big tests each term, so 6 per year. A week before the tests, I start studying seriously. Usually I study at school, then go to my club, and if I don't have club activities, I hang out with friends. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I usually spend with friends.
In my country, many students don't even know what they'll do after finishing school or what university they'll choose, even by 11th grade. When do Japanese students usually start seriously thinking about what they want to become?
Definitely not in middle school. When choosing a high school, they start thinking a little bit. But in high school, they really start deciding what to do after graduation. For example, some want to start their own office or company right away. Some go to an institute or university, and others just choose to work for someone.
And tell me, when you finish school, is there some kind of big final exam that everyone is scared of because it determines their whole future, or is it not that stressful?
In the third year of middle school, there's a final test, but the scariest exam is the entrance exam for high school. That one is really tough. There are about 9 subjects, and you have to pass all of them with good grades. That's why students hardly sleep and just study. Everyone is afraid of it.
And what happens if you fail?
Then you study 1 more year. That's called Ichiro. If you fail again the second year, you're Nero. If you fail for 10 years, you're called Juro. There are even people like that. If you fail, you go to a special school called Yobiko, a prep school, and there you study again and then retake the test.
Do students and teachers ever have conflicts?
Yes, I'll give you an example. During break time, some kids sneaked out of school through a hole in the fence, went to buy candy, and later ate it during class. The smell was strong, and the teacher noticed. They were taken to the principal's office, argued with the teachers, and got scolded. In the end, the candy was confiscated, the hole was closed, and teachers warned that if it happened again, the kids' grades on their report cards would be lowered.
I've also heard that Japanese schools have only about a month of summer vacation, maybe a little more. Do you actually have time to rest in that month? And how much homework do you get for the summer?
Honestly, there's a lot of homework. They give us assignments for every day. You can rest, but they give the homework with the answers so you can check yourself. Many kids do it all at the very end of summer break, and on the last day, they just look at the answers.
Are there ever unusual summer assignments? For example, after first grade, my son was given homework to learn how to play a musical instrument and also grow a plant. That was very surprising for us.
Yes, I had that too. I had to learn to play the recorder for the school concert. We have 1 concert per year, and I had to prepare for that. For example, I also played the harmonica.
Did you actually learn it over the summer?
Yes.
Wow. And earlier you said growing plants is usually in elementary school. So in your case, your summer homework was more about music.
Yes, I didn't get plant growing tasks, but it all depends on the teacher. They decide what kind of homework to give. There's also another type of assignment. I think in post-Soviet countries, they have it too. You have to read a book and then write a summary about it. If you do it really well, they might send your work to an education board, and it could even get displayed somewhere.
By the way, I've also heard that in Japanese schools there are lots of crafts like origami, calligraphy, and practicing writing kanji. What other unusual things do you do?
We use a special black ink for writing kanji. That's usually given as homework during winter break. Really beautiful works are sometimes sent to the education board, and they're displayed in a big hall where people from all over Japan come to see them. We also learn sewing.
Do both boys and girls learn sewing?
Everyone, boys and girls. We also learn how to use a hammer, all of us.
In my country, we call that a shop class. And how about gender in general?
Once they gave out flyers saying that if you're not sure about your gender, you can come and talk with other kids who feel the same way. That way, you can better understand your true gender, or something inside you might change and your life could become easier.
Have you actually met anyone like that in your school?
No, most kids just threw the flyers away. I did too.
Thank you. Another thing that surprised me a lot, after living 3 years in Japan, I still can't get used to the fact that girls walk around in skirts without tights in winter, and boys wear shorts too. I get that it's not as cold here as in other countries, but winter is still pretty chilly. I guess you're used to it since childhood, so maybe you don't even feel cold. Or what do Japanese kids think about it?
Of course I feel cold. Many kids do wear tights. Girls sometimes roll up their skirts to look stylish. A lot of boys also wear tights if it's too cold. On top of that, you can wear a vest. And if it's still cold, you can put on a jacket, but it has to be a normal one. Not colorful, just black or plain.
So it's not true that girls are forbidden to wear tights in winter?
No, it's not a myth. I remember when I entered school, they gave us papers that clearly said boys and girls can wear tights when it's cold. In elementary school, if your mom gives permission, you can even wear tights during physical education, but you need to talk to the principal about it.
That's good to know because we never came across schools like that. It probably depends on the school. Tell me, how old are you, by the way?
I'm 13, turning 14 this year.
And in middle school, is there a place where students openly show their feelings? Or is that only in high school? For example, can a boy and a girl hold hands or act sweet toward each other? Is that allowed or is it forbidden inside school?
It's allowed, no problem. Elementary, middle, high school, everywhere. I liked a girl once too, and we dated for a few weeks. But then we broke up. There was a reason.
So even inside school, you could hold hands? It's not considered inappropriate?
No, it's fine. Anyone can hold hands. Even boys can hold hands with boys.
Can I ask, when a boy and a girl decide to start dating, how does it usually happen?
The girl suggested we talk on the phone. In Japanese, that's sukiate kudasai. If you want it to be romantic, you invite the person somewhere outside when no one is around and say it. Sometimes, if the roof is open at school, kids even confess there. Everyone gathers around and one says to the other, "Let's date."
Wow, that's so interesting. And is there actually a phrase in Japanese that means I love you? Or do people say it differently?
Yes, it exists. It's just suki desu. Suki means I like or I love. It can be about a person, but also about food, for example. I love carrots. You can use it however you want. If you want to say it in a really deep way, then it's aishiteru.
You know, I heard that maybe in the older generations, people didn't really say I love you out loud. Instead, they would show it through care, like cooking food or doing something nice. Is that true, or do younger people nowadays openly say the words?
Of course, everyone gets embarrassed. If you're already dating, then it's not a big deal. But if you're not, then yeah, people feel shy. Even if a girl does something nice for you, you just say thank you. In elementary school, from 1st to 6th grade, I liked one girl the whole time. In 6th grade, I asked her out and she immediately rejected me. She said that she will think about it, but never gave me an answer, just stayed silent. My friends told me she said no, and that was it. Later, with the girl I dated for a short while, we never even went on a date. We only talked on the phone and a little bit at school. Honestly, I've never experienced real love.
So, how do teenagers usually date? Do you go out together, play games? Maybe let's start with dating. How does it usually happen?
Usually, kids who are dating go on dates to the movies, the zoo, or shopping together. Or they talk on the phone at night, all the way until they fall asleep. When you fall asleep, and your girlfriend or boyfriend falls asleep too, the call just stays on until morning. Then, when you wake up, you say good morning to each other. It's kind of a funny trend among Japanese kids.
Wow, so the phone can stay on for 8 hours while you both sleep on different sides of the call?
Yes, that's called nemurasu denwa, fall asleep call. I think everyone just keeps their phone charging. But if not, you can always say at school the next day that your phone died. That's why you couldn't say good morning.
That's amazing. I never heard of that before. Thanks for sharing. So, if you compare your Russian-speaking friends and your Japanese friends, what's the difference? Do you spend time differently with them?
With my Russian friends, I mostly play video games. With my Japanese friends, I go outside. We go to the park, play basketball. There's a place where kids gather called Jidokan. We play there. Right now, I don't talk to my Russian friends as much, but there was a time when I introduced them to my Japanese friends, and they all became friends too.
Tell me, do you find Japanese girls or foreign girls girls more attractive in terms of looks and personality?
I like Japanese girls more for their personality. Some Japanese girls have bad personalities, but most are really nice and kind. Foreign girls are also nice, but since I live in Japan, I prefer Japanese girls.
Is it true that in Japan people don't usually say what they really think? Like you always have to smile so the other person doesn't feel uncomfortable, always agree, and never really open up about your true feelings?
I don't hide my emotions, but a lot of people do. Mostly girls hide their feelings. Boys usually don't, they just say whatever they want. But girls almost always hide things.
Everyone knows Japan has a lot of introverts, people who are closed off and keep to themselves. Do you see yourself as an introvert, or are you more open and enjoy being in big, noisy groups?
I like being in noisy groups. I'm not closed off. I always treat everyone nicely, openly. Everything's fine. But of course, in every school there are kids who are closed off. Some don't want to talk because of bullying. Others don't like how they look. Or sometimes it's something small, like they cut their bangs too short and feel embarrassed to come to school.
You have a very unique and beautiful appearance. Your curly hair, you're really, really cute. How do Japanese kids react to your looks?
At school, it's totally fine that I have natural curls because I didn't perm or dye my hair. Since it's natural, the school allows it. Friends, especially girls, were always touching my hair, tying it with rubber bands, making braids. That happened a lot in middle school. And there's another interesting thing. At school, they choose students who become the leaders of the school. Of course, the main person in the school is the principal, but among the students, they also choose a main student. It's called Seito Kaicho. Once a year, they can change school rules. For example, right now, there's a rule that you can't paint your nails, girls can't tie their hair in a bun, you can't shave, and you can't use colorful hair ties.
So that nobody stands out?
Exactly. Long nails too. But once a year, they can change the rules. The student council president asks everyone's opinion, and then they adjust the rules. For example, in my school now, they allowed boys to shave the sides of their hair, and they allowed girls to tie their hair in a bun. In other schools, they even allow nail polish and colorful hair ties.
Do kids in your class often break the rules?
Some do. For example, if your hair is longer than your shoulders, you must tie it up. But some girls don't. There's one girl who dyed her hair brown.
And what about you? Have you ever broken the rules?
One time I brought a phone to school and I shaved, but if it's not visible, it's okay, but officially it's not allowed. I also dyed my hair once, but then dyed it back. I did it during vacation, first back to black, then to brown, and now it's brown.
I'm really curious. How do teenagers usually spend their free time together in Japan? I'll give a negative example. In some post-Soviet countries, teenagers start smoking or drinking alcohol pretty early. It's bad, but it happens. What about in Japan?
Some kids try those things too, like smoking, or they go to dangerous places. But most of the time, my friends hang out outside until 7 or 8 p.m., walking around, playing, or playing soccer. I also sometimes play soccer with them. That's how kids spend time after school, just hanging out. When I changed schools for the first time, I met a boy from that school because I joined a soccer club. He immediately introduced me to his friends, and they accepted me into their group. I hadn't even started going to the school yet, but I already became friends with everyone. Then we went together to the place where kids gather. We played Brawl Stars and other games. We stood in a circle and slowly introduced ourselves. I said that my name's George. I came from another school. Nice to meet you. Everyone clapped, started asking which country I was from. They all said it was cool that I'm HAFU, and in Japan, I'm considered a bit tall.
So how tall are you?
169 centimeters. Back in first grade, I was the tallest, but later another friend got taller than me. But for the first 2 years, I was the tallest. In our school, we line up by height, the shortest in front, tallest in back. Sometimes we also line up by numbers. My number is 13 now. But those numbers aren't random, they have meaning. For example, let's say someone's last name is Ito. It starts with I. In the Japanese alphabet, A comes first, then I. So whoever has letters from the beginning of the alphabet stands in front, and those with letters from the end stand in back.
Listen, I know you have a TikTok account. Am I right? What do you usually post there? I'll leave George's link in the description. Please go support this wonderful young man.
Before, I just danced sometimes with a friend or messed around. I've changed now. Once I even did street interviews with Japanese people. I asked them what their favorite Japanese word was. Many refused. Girls often said their favorite word was arigato. Some said bad words too, but it was a fun little project.
And what's your favorite Japanese word?
Ugoku.
That's wonderful. We wish you to always keep moving forward. Now, as far as I know, Japanese people are very tough and rarely go to doctors. Have you ever had a situation where you had to call an ambulance?
Yes. When I was in 4th grade, I was biking to acrobatics class. I was going uphill. My foot slipped off the pedal and I fell. When I tried to get up, I saw blood flowing down the hill. I look at my leg and the brake had stabbed right into it. I started screaming, and an old man who was walking his dog up the hill called the ambulance. People gathered around. I called my mom. crying, shouting, because it hurt so much. Then the ambulance came. They took me to the hospital, and they stitched me up. I had to walk with crutches, but the ambulance arrived really fast. In Japan, they come very quickly, but if you just trip and get a little cut, you shouldn't call an ambulance, or if you're only a bit sick, because there aren't that many ambulances, and someone else might need one more than you. You can always just go to the hospital by yourself. Many people have died because they waited for an ambulance that never came because they were all busy. That's why you really need to think before you call.
Besides school and soccer, do you have any other hobbies you haven't told us about?
Yes, I do. I like playing guitar, sometimes singing, doing some computer programming, or playing games with my friends.
That's awesome. You're a very multi-talented person. Tell me, do you already have plans for the future? What do you dream of becoming?
I'd like to be a singer or play guitar. If not, that's okay too. I know I can't be 100% sure that I'll become who I want. So first, you need to think about what you want to be, study, and maybe just work for someone. If you're really sure, then you can start moving toward it. But I haven't decided 100% yet.
Your Russian is excellent. You speak so well. I'm curious, in your free time, do you watch movies or listen to music only in Japanese or also in Russian?
I don't listen to that much Japanese music. I mostly listen to foreign music. Sometimes I watch anime. I also watch foreign movies. I sometimes listen to Japanese rap, and I also listen to English rap, but mostly Japanese rap. I love rap.
Your Russian is really wonderful. Do you find it difficult to speak, or do you consider it your second native language?
I consider it my second native language, but I know Japanese better.
That makes sense. Your whole environment speaks Japanese. With your mom and friends, you speak Russian, right?
Yes.
So I'm looking outside now. It's raining, and people are walking with umbrellas. They say in Japan umbrellas often get stolen. Even though it's such a safe country, people claim umbrellas get stolen. Is that true? Has anything ever been stolen from you or someone you know?
Well, first of all, umbrellas aren't really stolen. It's just that almost everyone has the same kind of umbrella, so people can't tell which one is theirs. So it's not stealing, it's just mixing them up.
Honestly, that's what I thought too. I even made a video about it, that most likely they just get mixed up, but many people insisted they were stolen. Have you ever had any other cases, maybe among your friends?
Well, for example, in convenience stores, my friend, he doesn't have a lot of money, used to steal candies and bread. Another friend thought it was me at first and wanted to tell the teacher, but I said it wasn't me, it was him. Then everyone thought we had planned it together. In the end, he admitted it, said he wouldn't do it again, and even gave half the candies to the other guy, and he forgave him. But stealing from stores is never okay. There are cameras. The clerks don't always notice, but still. And convenience stores don't have security tag. Big stores do, but small ones don't have enough money to install sensors and put chips in every product. So even if you have your own store, you always have to be careful. And if you see someone doing something bad, you must tell the clerks or any adults nearby. Don't steal from anyone.
Is it true that in Japan, when people lose things, like phones, wallets, or cards, they always have to take them to the kaban? What happens there? Do you have a story about that?
Yes, I have a story. I was walking to the station, and on the way, I found a wallet. My mom and I found it, and on the way, we saw a police box, so we took it there. There, we had to fill out special forms, phone number, name, everything, and you can get 10% of the value from the person who lost the wallet. We didn't get money, but they sent us some expensive treats as a thank you for finding and returning it.
That's amazing. A really interesting story. Thank you so much. Friends, thank you all for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And remember, I'll leave links to George in the description. Go check them out and subscribe. Thank you all very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.